All right, Bears fans, welcome back into another episode of the 312 Blitz. I'm Gordo, and it is Saturday, September the 13th. It is the day before Ben Johnson returns back to Detroit and faces his former team at Ford Field. Let's get you ready for the game. Because, like I said, we're just over 24 hours away, and it's a must-win game. We have been learning in the last couple of days, especially from press conferences. This is a must-win for the Bears. It is time to set the tone. It is time to recover from the heartbreaking loss that we succumbed to on Monday Night Football against the Vikings, but you know, the Lions are also 0-1 to start the season. Their offense sputtered a little bit without Ben Johnson there at the helm. So this is Caleb Williams and the offensive time to recover and show what if they're showing that improvement. That has been stressed since training camp, that it would take time. There would be improvement. It could be significant, it could be steady, but regardless, we're going to see progress. So after watching last week's game and preparing for this game, went ahead and came up with a list of things, a small laundry list, guys, small laundry list. But these are our keys to victory. First and foremost, based off of what we saw, both sides of the ball have to dominate. We have to dominate the trenches. The offensive line got bullied around at times. Even Tooney and Dahlman struggled there a little bit, but and especially Jonah Jackson. Braxton Jones looked out of place. Darnell Wright was probably the all-star of that line on Monday night. So they need to dominate on that offensive line. But additionally, they have to dominate on the defensive line. I mean, outside of Dio Agbengo and Jervon Dexter, we didn't really see much in terms of Montez Sweat. Grady Jarrett was having his struggles at times as well. Didn't really see much of Andrew Billings. The line is going to have to show up. They need to get to the quarterback. And I honestly believe now that Jalen Johnson is going to be returning to play, Josh Blackwell's in there. I think that now that we're strengthening the secondary, we're getting TJ Edwards back. I think that's going to really help out because those guys will be in position where they need to be. They'll be on their guys, and let's see if we can get the motors out of these linemen to really turn up and get after them. So trenches first and foremost. To go along with that, we got to establish the run. Our run game was beyond non-existent on Monday, and even Ben Johnson admitted that. Said I needed to go ahead and dial up more plays to establish the run. I think they only had like 10 running plays total. DeAndre Swift, he's not a lead back. He does some things great in the receiving department. He can kick outside and things like that. But when it comes to like straight line running, getting up the gut, between the tackles and between the linemen, that's going to be a Kyle Monangai, Roschon Johnson situation right there, plain and simple. And we have to work with what we have. Ben Johnson's already said that he plans on getting Monangai involved. He's had conversations with him to let him know he will be involved. And that's, to me, that's a head coach taking responsibility. He's holding himself accountable, and he's making changes. He's not just going to roll with the same thing week in and week out. He's making the adjustments, figuring out what's working there. But the biggest thing is they have to establish the run. Because once you're able to establish the run, then you can start wearing these guys down. Then you can kick in that play action pass. And I think Caleb will do very well in the play action department. I think a lot of our playmakers, playmaking receivers and tight ends will be able to really show up. And with that said, it's a great segue into my third key, and that is getting the wideouts and the tight ends in sync. You'd heard from Declan Doyle in post game pressers and throughout the week, talking about the one play where Caleb, it looks like he just completely overthrew DJ Moore and it just was completely off target. We come to find out that DJ Moore wasn't even running the correct route. He was improvising. Caleb was putting it exactly where he needed to. And you could even tell with the body language with DJ near the end of the game that it was off. These guys need to be on the same page. There's no excuse there. We need to see more out of the tight ends. I mean, Cole Kmet had a great reception, 30-some yard reception. We saw Colston Loveland kind of get involved a little bit. They need to be able to get into the receiving game. They've got to get out there. They got to get open. And at the same time, they also need to be physical and opening up the run game as well. So those two go pretty much hand in hand right there. In order for all these things to work, Caleb is going to need to ball out. Caleb is going to have to start taking chances. He's been playing it very safe and conservative. There's been a sheet going around. There's an image going around of all the passes that he threw Monday night, and the majority of them were short, intermediate. Not a whole lot of intermediate, but outside of the one pass that he had to Roma Dunze, where it was like a dot, or his Harrison Graham from Bears Now talks about as a piss missile, putting it right in there. Outside of that, we didn't really see a lot of that. I think he's overly concerned about turning the ball over. He doesn't want to rack up those INTs, but I mean, you've got to take chances. You've got to be aggressive, and you got to put it up there and trust in your playmakers. You're going to have some here and there, but the only way to learn to be able to be effective in those high pressure situations is you got to do it. You got to get used to it. You've got to go through and establish that. So I want to see more aggressiveness and more of Caleb taking chances when he's passing. And then this is a no-brainer. After you have been penalized for over 120 yards Monday night, penalties, especially false starts. There was some BS holding and pass interference calls in there too. But this team was looking sloppy. Now we understand why Ben has been losing his mind, or was losing his mind in training camp over these types of penalties. They have to get used to the cadences. They've got to get used to silent count or silent snap. They've been talking about working on that, but I mean, up at Ford Field, now that the Lions have established themselves as a successful team, a perennial contender, those fans are going to be rabid on Sunday. They're going to be loud, and they need to be ready for that. The communication has got to be on key. And then at the same time, I think now that we're getting our guys back on the defensive side, hopefully we'll be playing cleaner ball there. And, guys like Nahshon Wright, who may not be, covering the number ones or the number twos, now he gets put into a position where he might be subbed in, or he might be playing the nickel, or doing something where Dennis Allen can, bring him in and out. I think we'll be able to see these guys being able to be conserved, trying to keep their energy levels, try to keep their stamina up and things like that. So really hope that we're going to see a more disciplined Chicago Bears team on both sides. And shoot, while we're at it, let's talk about special teams. We need more out of special teams. So I should have put a 6 on there, but yeah, we these are the ones that definitely stuck out based off of what we saw Monday night, and obviously what has been ongoing in preseason and training camp. Injury report. We are looking a lot better, folks. Josh Blackwell is back. Obviously, we just talked about Jalen Johnson. So cornerback situation is much better. TJ Edwards will be back in his position. We know Tremaine Edmonds had a pretty decent game there on Monday. Noah Sewell, very well. He was tackling very well, but now they can get into the more natural positions that they were learning in training camp with Dennis Allen. So I think Noah Sewell, you're going to see a lot more out of Noah Sewell taking care of the run stopping. And I think you're going to see TJ Edwards more in that and the passing defense there. And I think Tremaine, I think you can see going both ways, just depending. But the linebacking core is going to be better. And then Ruben Hippolyte will then be able to be subbed in, especially if they need that sideline to sideline speed. And then he'll obviously be focusing on special teams as well. Roshan Johnson's going to be back. We're going to finally see how Ben is going to get him into the game. We're going to see him in short yardage situations. Is he going to be featured in first down, or is it going to be Monangai? Regardless, the running back room is already looking a little bit better going into week 2. DJ Moore, you may have saw he got banged up pretty hard near the end of the game, and he struggled there, but he is cleared and ready to go. But with that said, we for sure right now have one player that is listed as out, and that is still Kyler Gordon. He's dealing with the hamstring. It's a week-to-week situation, so we won't see him debuting yet. Hopefully next week when they play the Cowboys, and that might be a possibility. Jade Walker, preseason darling. Unfortunately, he's listed as doubtful. He has an ankle issue. Grady Jarrett popped up on the injury list as well. He has a knee issue, but again, he's listed as questionable. I'd imagine he's going to get out there, but I can also see a lot of Andrew Billings being subbed in there with him and Dexter, and I think that they're going to be careful with Grady because they want him to hold up the entire season, maybe postseason. I know we're ways away from that, but they're going to probably take very good care of him and try to keep him as healthy as possible. We do have some news as of yesterday, and kind of already saw the tea leaves, coming about and everything earlier in the week, especially after Cairo Santos had one of his worst games as a Chicago Bear. The Bears ended up going out and signing former 49ers kicker Jake Moody, who also hails from Michigan. Go Blue. That's right. Go Blue, baby. But he got picked up. He's on the practice squad. He might be a good option to challenge Cairo, whether he can overtake him at the position or at least challenge him and maybe get him back into a competitive spirit where his accuracy can improve and he's not doing boneheaded things when it comes to kicking off. This guy has got a great leg. His accuracy just sucks. So if you could take the strong attributes from each kicker and put them together, you'd probably have Robbie Gould. Can't deny it. Robbie was one of a kind here in Chicago. He's a legend. But Cairo Santos isn't way too far behind. But for now, we've got Jake Moody out there. Hopefully, Hightower and company can help motivate, probably get a little bit more out, or at least get his confidence back up, and we'll see if maybe the grass is a little bit greener on the other side. So I'm glad that they're addressing that. Hopefully with some of our other glaring positions that do pop up this season, hopefully we continue to see these week-to-week improvements and seeing them addressing glaring needs. Got to beat them Lions tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Ford Field. Get ready. I think it's going to be a hell of a game, guys. Ben Johnson's ready to rock and roll. He said they need to win this game. Dan Campbell said the same exact thing. I think you're going to see some really good football tomorrow. Great black and blue division, NFC North showdown. Should be a good game, guys. That's it for today. Short and sweet, got down to business. But hey, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Share predictions for Sunday. Right now, I'm looking at 24-10, da Bears. I think the defense is going to show up. Probably a lot of people think I'm delusional, but you know what? A lot of people didn't think the Bears were going to come out of the gate and show up on the Vikings. They just couldn't close it out. So I think you're going to see a totally different Bears squad. I think they're still going to have their ups and downs. They're going to have their growing pains, but I think 24-10, I'm going with that. Put a comment down below. Let me know what you think your prediction is. And always, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're new to the game. We're new to the scene. Love to have you a part of what we're doing here as we continue to build and grow and bring you some of the best Chicago Bears insights and news and just keeping you plugged into what's going on with the Bears. So without further ado, guys, I'm getting out of here. Go Bears. And as always, bear down. See you next time, guys.